I may be building glass houses, but you'll never see me crack. Well, maybe just a little bit this episode, just a little bit. Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. I am Raphael and I am here to review season 2, episode 12 of The Real Housewives putting their business logo everywhere of Dubai. So we start the episode off at Caroline Strawberry's house, and Sergio's still living there. Her mom, if that's what you want to call her, and dad, they come on over, and notice how Strawberry tells them, "Oh, what do you think about my house?" I'm telling you, all she sees Sergio as is a pretty accessory. That's it. And you know he's sitting there emotional like, honey, what do you mean my house? This is our house. Remember I gave you a $10 deposit on the down payment on the house? So technically it's our house, honey. And you know the parents are looking at him like, Caroline, who is that? They probably never seen that man a day in their life like, wait a minute, you're married? Eventually, Strawberry and her mom, if that's what you want to call her, they sit down to have a emotional conversation, if that's what you want to call it. She tells her that because of her sending her to boarding school when she was younger, it had a huge effect on her emotionally as an adult. She can't talk about issues, conflicts, emotions. She barely loves Sergio. She's always avoiding him, and she barely loves Sergio. The mom just looked at her like, well, you know what, Caroline? You could fuck off with your problems. I really don't give a bloody hell. I'm like, wow, lady. So this is where Strawberry gets her cold demeanor from. I mean, I thought Strawberry was cold, but she's the ice queen. If you don't want to be a mom, just say that. It's that simple. And see, because of you, now this cycle might continue in her family or in your bloodline. Because now let's say that Strawberry, she inherits this terrible cold behavior from you. Now she passes it on to Jasmine. Jasmine, she passes it on possibly to her future kids. And now what? It's all because of you. And then Strawberry, again, she tries to tell her, like, look, you know, I also have issues with Sergio because Sergio wants to have a baby, but I don't really know. He wants to carry out his last name. And what is his last name? You know, I only know him as Sergio Strawberry's husband. So I guess the mom, she looked at her like, again, Caroline, I'm trying to figure out what part of this is my problem. I'm like, well, damn, lady. And then she blames it on Caroline. And she's like, look, it's good that you can't discuss your issues because sometimes you need to do it on your own. And I'm like, wow, she must be fun at parties. I can only imagine her household, right? You know what? At this point, just get off the show. Get off the show and take Saba with you. So we get to Lesa Milan's skincare line event for her Mina Rowe business, and she's having it at this spa called Healing and Soul, or at least for this episode, it's called Mina Rowe, because the second that you walk in, it's just Mina Rowe stickers everywhere. I mean, on the wall, the doorknobs, the toilet paper, the ceiling, the floor. I thought there was a Mina Rowe sticker right behind me, but you get the point. It's just Mina Rowe everywhere, right? So everyone arrives in their matching yoga outfits. Talina's gonna lead the class. Brooks, she shows up, but in the confessional, she's like, I just don't understand why Lesa has her business logo plastered everywhere at the spa, as if it's her spot. It's not her spot. It's not even her building. Why is she faking it? And I'm like, is it just me, or I just never got the impression that Lesa was trying to show off this building, this spot, to be hers just because her business logo is on it? Like, it's her event, she's having it here, so of course her logo is going to be everywhere. What do you expect, Brooks? Like, at this point, Brooks, it just sounds like you're a hater because you always have something to say about somebody's event. First it was Chanel Ayan. You were shady back then. You didn't even show up on time. And in Bali, when Lesa gave everybody these pretty dresses, what did you say? Oh, I don't like my dress because I don't like the color. It's mustard and it doesn't look nice. And now here we are. Oh, I don't like this event because her logo's on it. Lesa and Ayan sit down to discuss the issues between Ayan and Strawberry, and Ayan tells her, you know, at first I wasn't really sure what to think about Caroline Strawberry, but once we sat down and talked about everything, I kind of realized I want to be her best friend, her bestie, and I don't want to be your best friend or your bestie anymore, Lesa, so I'm going to drop you, and I'm going to go get with Strawberry, okay? It's nothing personal. And Lesa, she finally comes out with it, and she admits it. Look, I am jealous of the friendship between you and Caroline Strawberry, and there goes our fucking storyline for season 3. And she's like, you know, you better look out for that bitch. Now, wait a minute, Lesa. Watch out for those B words. But I'm going to also need you to to pull it back a little bit because it seems that you love and care about this friendship that you have with Ayan much more than it is vice versa. Clearly, Ayan is too busy being up Strawberry's ass to care about the friendship that she had with you season 1. Because on season 1, I feel like both of you were on the same playing field. Now, it seems like you're giving much more energy and you care about this friendship much more than she does. So she's just, unfortunately Team Strawberry now, and you need to realize that. Lisa heads over to Sara to discuss the situation with the maid in Maktoum, and as they're talking, I'm noticing these two women that they're sitting with, and I could have swore that one of them was Margaret Joseph from the Real Housewives of New Jersey. I'm like, Margaret, what are you doing on the show? You know you can't afford to be on the show. Like, why are you here? And they're both just sitting there comfortably in silence, just listening to the gossip like, what? The maid did what? She did what? The cameras? Sara, and what did you do? Like a pair of nosy bitches. And if I was Sara, I would have told both of them, like, look, I get it that you two want your camera time and stuff, but you two are now on the show, so I need both of you to go. Like, this is between me and Lisa. And, I agree with Lisa. And I said it last week that I am not a parent, but the way Sara parents, it's very questionable, just having your son there in these conversations, just crazy, right? Strawberry and Selena are getting massages. So Brooks, she goes into the room and she's like, I just don't understand why Lisa's hosting her event at this spot instead of asking me to host it at my spot instead. She feels that this is basically a slap in the face to her because she feels that Lisa is promoting her competitors instead of going to her business and promoting her business. And I just truly don't think that Lisa was thinking, how can I be shitty towards Brooks and her business, the Glass House? Oh, let me host my event at her competitor's spot. I just don't think that she was thinking that. And on top of that, Brooks, in the same sentence, you're like, oh yeah, I also come to this very same spot as well for healing. So you're also giving them promotion. So why can't Lisa host her event here? And if anything, Lisa should feel some type of way that you didn't invite her to your grand opening to the Glass House because according to you, you only invited the who's who of Dubai, which included Sara. Who? And not Ayan or Lisa. So why would Lisa even reach out to you and say, hey, let's cross-promote businesses? Like, it just doesn't make sense. Then we see Sara going out to dinner with, what's her name? And I will give Saba this. She did look pretty in this scene. So Sara, she starts it off by saying, I feel like this relationship between me and Akeem, I just don't know what's to come of it anymore because I feel like we were connecting mentally, but I feel like we need to connect spiritually as well because we're much more than just our brains and our bones and our human body. We're the universe. And I just feel like, we need to heal from our trauma. Healing. Trauma. And I just feel like E equals MC squared and onomatopoeia. And if I use all these big words and long sentences, maybe they're gonna mean something. But all we do is just argue from Germany to Dubai, from Dubai to Germany, which she is much better than me because I barely argue with a man down the street. Let alone through every other country. Like, that is crazy. And Saba's looking at her like, this bitch is fucking stupid. Because at this point, Sara, you're a walking contradiction. You say one thing and then you do another. And I just don't understand because you're always judging from season 1 all the way to now. You're always judging everybody else. Like, maybe you should do this. Maybe you should do that. That's the trauma talking. That's this talking. But yet, look at your own life. She continues on and she's like, I just don't know. I just feel like me and Akeem, I maybe it's not going to work, but I feel like maybe it will. Saba, I'm with Saba. Who said that? But I'm with Saba when she told her, like, okay, but you're not God. What do you mean? She's not even Mother Teresa. I just don't understand. Like, why can't you just leave him? You see all these red flags, but what do? And Sara, she's like, I just feel like if I leave people's lives at their worst, I just feel like I'm walking away from their potential and, the good in their heart. And oh, Sara, part of me wants to say, oh, you need to stop with this bullshit. But then the other part of me is just like, okay, Sara, let's just say that you do have a good heart, allegedly, right? And you do want to see the beauty in all people. Okay, kudos to you. But it's just like sometimes people are just shitty and you just have to leave them at that. It's not your job. You do not have a giant S on your chest, to be saving anybody or to be, Captain Save-A-Ho and try to, fix everybody. Like, no, because then who's fixing you? Nobody. Is it because he's beautiful? Like, I just feel like at this point, Sarah's just like, nope, he's beautiful. I'm not looking at the red flags. Which I get it. I completely get it because we've all been there before. We know that this man is toxic, but his dick isn't toxic. So you choose to ignore a couple of flags. I get it, Sara. I completely get it. But it's just like, no, I want better for you. I want you to choose a better man. Because look at everything that you have going on at home with Maktoum, the maid, that whole situation that's been going on for 6 months. You were blind about that because what? You're too busy worrying about this man? that's not even worth anything. Like, learn something from this. I have never had to yell at somebody like this, Sarah, the way I have you. So learn something from this. And speaking of, the waiter was so nosy. We had a couple of nosy people this whole entire episode in the background because he kept coming back and forth out of nowhere just for nothing. Like, do you want some mayo? Anything? Like ketchup? Nothing? You're good? Okay. How about an extra fork? You're good? Oh, okay, okay. Wait, so what happened between you and Akeem? Like, if you don't move, all I ordered was a glass of water. But come on, Sarah. You know, Saba was giving you some really good advice. She gave you some good advice last episode, and I guess that's all she's good for. You know, which is crazy to me, because now Saba and Sarah, in real time, they're enemies. They're not even friends anymore, and they fell out, and Saba, she posted this whole thing on Twitter or Instagram, you know, basically announcing her relationship with Sarah is done, and they've been going back and forth online, and it's just like, what is going on with this cast? Then we see Melissa and Joe Gorga, and they invite all the couples to a one-night stay at the 7-star hotel. All the couples are arriving one by one. We see Lesa Milan and Richard. Hey, Richard, how are you? Hey, Lisa. We see Caroline Strawberry and Sarah Hill, and you know Sarah Hill is salivating at the mouth, just looking at the cameras in front of him, like, finally, I get to be a housewife today. We see Ayan and her husband. We see Sarah and... You know, I thought we just had a scene with her just a second ago at the dinner. Like, why are we getting part two? Like, but, you know, Saba's there too. And then Caroline Brooks, she shows up last. And of course, in the confessional, she has to be shady towards Lisa. And she's like, oh, well, I was late because I had a job, you know, because I have a spa that I own for me personally, that is mine. And I'm not just putting my name on it. Lisa, step your money up. You know, but I could have swore, Brooks, that you had your husband finance the glass house for you, or you two built it together or whatever. So it wasn't just entirely you. So how are you telling Lisa to step her money up when she could throw the same thing back at you? If you saw her in the confessional say, oh, well, you know, your husband depended on you to build the glass house, step your money up, you wouldn't like that either, would you? Eventually, they all get ready. They all go back downstairs to go golfing. And this scene dragged on way too long, specifically because it's centered around Saba. You know, I'm like, okay, you know, we could see her golfing or whatever, you know, hitting the stick and the ball, but let's keep it moving, right? Eventually, I believe Talene and Lesa Milan, they were talking about, you know, why was Brooks feeling some type of way? Because Lisa found out that Brooks actually denied any type of service at the event earlier in the episode. And I'm like, Brooks, like, you must obviously feel some type of way about Lisa specifically. I feel like it goes further than just the business at this point, because at this point, it must be something personal. Are you jealous of something? Talene is just like, well, maybe you should talk to her. I don't know. Eventually, all the women decide to go get drinks at the rooftop of the hotel. The rooftop was just so beautiful. And did anybody see that the second that they said, okay, we're all going to go and we're going to leave the men out here, Sarah Hill got so sad. He became the Puss in Boots from Shrek again. He's just like... But what about me? I don't want to stay with the men. I want to go over there next to Strawberries. Like, no, you're going to stay out here and golf. So the women go upstairs. They get their drinks. Lisa asks Brooks, okay, Brooks, so what's going on? What's the problem? Brooks is just like, look, I'm a spa owner, and I just felt like it was kind of like a conflict of interest if I was to promote a different spa. I just felt uncomfortable about the whole situation. Lisa, she understood. She was like, okay, I get it. You're delusional. You want to make something out of nothing. I get it. And I'm sorry if you felt some type of way, but that was not my intention. I had no malicious harm to you or your business. Me and my event planner, we didn't have you or your business in our mind. Which was kind of worded shady, but that's exactly what I said. I just don't think that Lisa was up thinking like, how can I prey on the downfall of Caroline Brooks' business? Like, I just don't get why Brooks took it so personal. So then Brooks was just like, okay, that was that, right? Everything was fine. Until Talene, you should have just sat there and ate your food because everything was fine. And she was just like, it was the branding though. Like, I just don't get it. And then Lisa, she was just like, okay, well, I have a brand. When you have a business, and you know what it reminded me of? When she was just like, when you have a business. It reminded me of Lauren London when she was at a red carpet and the interviewer was just like, oh, your relationship. And Lauren London was just like, okay, do you have somebody? Okay, well, when you get one, then you could focus. Same energy here. Lesa Milan was just like, okay, well, when you have a business, then you could focus on your branding, your logo, whatever. And honestly, Talene or Brooks, I don't care if she had an event in a sketchy alley and she wanted to put Mina Rowe all over the place. So what? And Brooks, according to her Twitter, she's putting a bunch of screenshots of this group chat that her, Sergio, Caroline Strawberry, and Talene are in. And according to Brooks, if I read it correctly, she's claiming that Strawberry started this whole situation to begin with. She was the one being shady about the whole event to begin with. She warned Caroline Brooks, like, hey, don't look at, what's her name, Lesa Milan's Instagram stories because you're going to get upset. She has this whole spa situation. Talene, she was trying to defuse the whole situation, so I don't really get what Brooks is trying to get out of this. I don't get it. And from the screenshots, it only makes her look bad because she goes off and she's like, I can't believe this. Production should have never allowed this, blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, it's just not making sense. It must be something much more deeper. And she also says that Talene had told Strawberry in this very scene that we're watching, oh, why are you just sitting there quietly? You participated in this too. Like, say something. And that's why Strawberry got up to go get a drink. But we didn't see that as the audience. So I don't know, it's just too much going on behind the scenes that we as the audience don't see that. So, and then here comes Miss Holier Than Thou, Mother Teresa, what's her name, Sara, in the confessional. You know, I just feel like when people get so aggressive and angry like that, it's because they don't have control of what's going on. They lost control of everything. First of all, Sara, shut up. Like, first, you barely have control of your own life or your decisions. Yet again, this is what I'm talking about. You always want to play fairy godmother or, you know, holier than thou to everybody else's life, but you don't even look at yourself and your own choices that you're making in your life. But yet you're so quick to say that Lisa's angry and out of control and this, that, and the third because she doesn't have control of anything. When all she did was just sit there, make an event, get everybody to come to it, have Brooks and Talene come to it and be nice to them. Yet both of them are the ones causing something, but yet you have nothing to say about that. All of a sudden now she's angry and upset. Like, okay, Sara, you know, see, this is why I don't see it for your friend Saba. And you two are just, what is it, two sides of the same coin. So everyone gets together for a dinner and Lisa, Talene, and Sara have the best looks of the night. They order food. They start playing questions of how well you know your spouse. One of the questions was, how long does your husband last in bed? Yep, exactly. I could smell a setup from a mile away. Like, who asked that question? That's suspicious. You know, because now let's just say that I'm honest, right? And I just put it out there on TV where people are watching, you know, viewers, a bunch of viewers. I say, oh, you know, my husband is so good in bed. He lasts all night for hours. He really knows how to satisfy me. Now I have the viewers or strangers DMing him on social media like, hey, big head, you know, I heard that you were good in bed and I kind of want to test drive it. Like, absolutely not. It's a whole setup. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lie and I'm going to say, you know, maybe he lasts for maybe 5 to 10 seconds. 15 seconds at most, you know, and he doesn't even know how to satisfy me. That will scare everybody off. So then Lisa, she says, oh, you know, I will typically like it to last for 5 minutes. It goes up to maybe 10 to 15. Jan's husband, I mean, he didn't even bother lying. He was just like, you know, after 3 strokes, I'm done. Ooh, I don't need, I can't stand no minute man. I don't want no minute man. Ooh, break me off, show me what you got, cause I don't want no. If you can't beat it up, then eat it up. Put a cherry on top, whipped cream it up. What? Trina was so nasty on her verse. I loved it. Raphael 2.0, he answers for himself, and he's just like, I don't know, maybe maybe 2 hours, 4 hours at most. Okay, maybe at least 3 hours at most maximum. Talene, she's looking at him like, and who have you been fucking for that long? Because it definitely is not me. It's certainly not I. Actually, the lie detector determined it was all a lie. She was like, no, Raphael. It was actually maybe 10 to 15 minutes and he had nothing to say. I'm like, so embarrassing, right? So eventually everybody else, they all just start talking, start eating. I believe Ayan starts whispering to Brooks, Brooks, I feel like you're a hater. I feel like you're jealous of Lesa Milan for some reason over this whole business situation. Like you made up this whole speculation about nothing. Brooks is just like, I'm not jealous of her. And she addresses Lisa across the table in front of everybody. And she's like, Lisa, I have my own spa. You know, I support you in everything that you do. Your fashion show last season, it's it's all good between us. Lisa, she's like, okay, yeah, I get it, but your feelings are coming off as jealousy. And Brooks is just like, jealousy? Lisa, she just low blows her and she's like, yeah, because you act like you don't get services outside of the glass house. You don't even get your hair done there. You have other people come to your place, and we all know that. Brooks, she was shocked. She was shocked that Lisa even said that. And I can tell just by her reaction that Lisa wasn't lying about it. And honestly, I'm not upset with how Lisa reacted to anything of Talene or Brooks, because both of them just keep poking at Lisa. So what do you expect? Of course she's gonna be defensive. Of course she's gonna low blow both of you. Like, it's just like, leave her alone. She's not doing anything to anybody. And Brooks, she's just looking for anybody to help her out. She's like, no, I get my hair done at the glass house. Right, Talene? Talene is just like, I'm not getting involved in this. I got called a bitch like 30 minutes ago. As she should, mind your business. And then she's like, Caroline Strawberry, you could defend me, right? Rafi, what about you? Sara, Saba, producers? Like nobody was in her corner. And then next thing you know, that went from that to Talene versus Lisa again. Talene is just like, I got called a bitch a couple of times by Lisa for no reason. So now Lisa, she shifts her focus over to Talene. Raphael, he's sitting right in between them. And I was just watching him the entire time like, it's so interesting that he thought that he was the big bad wolf in front of Caroline Brooks a couple of episodes ago when he was going face to face with her. But now Lisa's right here just doing the same thing to Talene. The only difference is she has her husband right next to her. So obviously it's clear that he only does this with the women. With the men, he wouldn't keep the same energy, because if Richard was not there, he would have stepped in so quickly and called Lisa a bunch of names. So Lisa, it was so hilarious too, because she acted as if he was not even sitting next to her. Like she was just leaning on him. Her elbow was in his mouth and everything. Like, you know what, Talene, let me tell you something. And he's just sitting there like a mummy, like just watching them go back and forth. But in his head, he was calling Lisa every single name in the book, right? So Talene is just like, I can't believe this. Why are you acting like this? And like I said before, anything that Lisa said to Brooks or Talene this episode was justified. And just because of what? A logo on a building? Is it really that serious? But, next week is the season finale and it's so bittersweet. I've enjoyed this season. I enjoyed the cast overall. And, the reunion looks dropped today, I believe. But, we'll discuss that on the reunion episode. But, that was that. Let me know what you all thought about this whole entire episode down in the comments. Bye, everybody. Mwah.